Welcome to episode of 150 of Fourth and John. I am Dale Saunders here with Evan Hollywood Hearn. We are 3-4-1, yet we are not having fun. One of the most boring, one of the most upsetting victories I've seen in a while. I just have lots and lots of questions, mainly for Carson Wentz and Doug Peterson. But again, this offense really struggled tonight. The defense really came home for Jerome. Really came up big when they needed to be. You lose Darius Slay. Malik Jackson goes down with an injury, with a quad injury. Slay with an ankle. We had some back into the roster guys in there on defense, but overall, just the feeling of the rhythm of the offense was lacking. I felt like Doug Peterson's play calling, again, going away from the run game. You have Lil Man's Boston Scott, averaging like 10 yards a carry. You go away from that. I feel like Carson doing too much, holding on to the ball, way too much, man. We've come up with the term Captain Saver Bro for a reason. Captain Saver Bro can be a blessing and a curse. Holding on to the ball in that situation or throwing the ball away would have been wonderful. The interceptions, the ball placement, the pick when he had a first down, he probably could have ran for it, and he just throws a pick, and it's just like it's really just disappointing to see Carson Wentz continue to make these mistakes in year 5, and it's not like there's no candy coating. It is what it is. You're 5th year. You're $100 million man. So I don't know what Doug Peterson is telling him in the locker rooms. In the film rooms. I would have them after practice shoot program. 23-hour lockdown. Line up. Coaches too. Deuce, line it up. Fip, get up. You out there too. And I would have Doug Peterson running gassers. If I was Larry, I'm like, what? This is Dallas week. And this is the best that you could muster up against a defense that has been struggling. Please, bro. I mean, Evan, can you make sense of what you saw tonight?
That was one of the most aggravating wins I've seen in a long time. I mean, shout out to all of our anyone in England, Australia, anywhere that are staying up to watch these games. I'm sorry you had to sit, Paul. I'm sorry you had to sit in the middle of the night through that awful performance. It's really a miracle, the margin that we won by. I mean, we went into this game, we were talking about a curb stomping. And that, we won by a somewhat significant margin, but it didn't feel that way the entire game. It felt like we were being beat the entire game. And it was a lot of beating ourselves. And one of the most just frustrating things is seeing Carson Wentz continue to regress. I mean, you look at 4 turnovers in that game. Are you kidding me, dude? And and on top of that, just the game planning on top of all that. Why are we drawing up all of these deep balls to Hightower when we've got Jalen Reagor back, we've got Travis Fulgham, we got Greg Ward, we got Dallas Goddard. We're throwing these deep shots to John Hightower. I'm not blaming that interception on John Hightower. That was a badly thrown ball by Wentz. But, I just don't understand the logic behind this game plan. I don't understand why we go away from players that are clearly the playmakers on this offense. I don't know why Wentz is taking such large steps backwards, and it's very concerning to me. I said to you right before we started, I really didn't ever feel like the Eagles were going to lose that game. Yeah, they were having an awful game, but ultimately, Dallas's offense was never able to get anything cooking the entire game. I didn't think that they were going to find the end zone, and I think the defense obviously is what held us in there, but the lack of offense that we're showing, it's very concerning for weeks to come, man. This is not where we want to be at all.
And shout out to all the people in the chat. Obviously, this is the post-game pod, which is very interactive with the fans. Stay Woke 925 from Twitter says, Doug needs to get a hold of Carson because mistakes keep happening. And this is true. They keep happening. So it's becoming a habit. Um, he's a habitual line stepper in that situation. I put a meme out on the timeline of Carson Wentz on the train reading a book, The Art of Doing Too. He's reading a book, and the title says The Art of Doing Too Much, because it felt like that the whole first half. I mean, for the rest of the game, it just didn't make sense. Like, again, like you're $100 million men don't have to force the issue. They just take what the defense gives you. And how long, Evan? How long have I been saying that about Carson Wentz? Like, take what the defense gives you. Like,
exactly. You've been saying it for as long as I can remember, and
never go broke taking a profit. If you have to hit the check down. But if you're gonna just throw it up, it's just, I don't know. Shout out to Gen B19. She said, "What is up? No fun." But very true.
And I'm seeing a lot of comments in here talking about how we need an offensive coordinator, and like this has just been a topic of conversation as we were entering the season. We were really talking about, is Doug capable of handling this offense on his own? And with it, this has been the topic of conversation. Vanilla game plan after vanilla game plan. Each post game, win or loss, we're sitting here having this conversation. Like, I'm sorry, but the coaching staff needs help. Like that's very prevalent to me, is that they need help. What just going forward with what we got isn't gonna work. The wheels are gonna fall off. They're really wobbly right now. They're gonna fall off any second.
It's funny. I did a meme with Jim Caldwell. The whole what was that? What was that? It was like Snoop Dogg, Tupac, and
What, like Death Row Records?
Yeah, Death Row, the Death Row meme. I had Jim Caldwell in there, and it was like, I think he would be the perfect black dad for Doug to be like, son, that's not gonna work, son. Okay, you can't say no to a black dad, and I think Jim Caldwell would be the perfect guy to tell Doug, like, you can't. Some of the things you're doing are not working.
Yeah.
Like, and it's just like, I still can't believe we're having this. Like, we're feeling this way. Like, my brother's sitting there looking at me. He's like, "Yo, I thought this was supposed to be a relaxing game, where we could just go into the bye." Like, he's looking at me like, "What is this?" I'm like, granted, I mean, if we're going to look at some positives out of this game, Jalen Reagor came back and was an instant hit. Yeah. Loved him on the orbit motion. Loved him on the short game. He came up, scored a touchdown on that by the goal line. That was nice.
He got 22 yards in total, Reagor. But what I'm saying is, like, yeah, he looked good on the plays he was involved in. Mm-hmm. Get him involved more. Exactly. Why is he not more involved in the game?
I would have had a jet sweep locked in for him. I would have had all types of stuff, like the eye candy we talked about, like the orbit motion. Just making it look, dressing up the defense would be nice.
Yeah, I got to get something off my chest too. I'm officially reached the level of pissed off with the Jalen Hurts pick, man. I'm sick of seeing the Jalen Hurts plays out there. That second round pick very well could have been anyone else to help us out on either the offensive or defensive side of the ball. And quite frankly, I think the Cowboys were kind of throwing it in our face with some of those formations they were doing. They had some of their there was a wide receiver out there. He was in there and potentially going to throw the ball. He played quarterback in high school, and that's literally the exact same thing I said about Greg Ward when we made the Jalen Hurts pick. I was like, you know what? If we want to do that kind of, fake it where the wide receiver might throw it, or just a trick play in that sort of sense, we don't need to go the full Saints Taysom Hill route. We can simply run a play with Greg Ward where he throws the ball or shows an option to throw the ball. You don't need to go and draft another quarterback that's not going to play and not contribute. And when he does step on the field, he sometimes makes mistakes. He doesn't do anything to bring this offense to another level.
I think the trickery and the art of being cute right now with, like, he's limited in the offense, but he does have some kind of packages rolling out there. But it's like, it seems forced. It doesn't seem like it's right. Like,
it seems like they're trying to justify the second round pick. That's
Like
what it seems like.
week in and week out, I'm putting my $100 million quarterback at wide receiver, not just for a couple cute 2 plays here. It's like 5 or 6 or 7 plays, and it's getting kind of stale. I saw the message from Jason. Shout out from Facebook. It says, "Win is a win. It shows you nothing for this team comes easy at all. There's no offense. You know, the whole. I believe in the whole. You know, a win in the league it's imperative. Just get dubs, stack dubs. It's hard to win NFL air quotes, but it's like we're talking about execution. We're talking about going into the bye. You know, sometimes you go into the bye and you feel good about your team. Like we're going into the bye having more questions than we had to the prior to this game. We're thinking this is get right, get righter. We went get right, get left, going left. And you're hoping that the bye week some guys come back a little bit healthier. But again, like
I changed my stance on the trade deadline, man. There ain't no reason to be buying, man. There's no reason.
I mean, if you're Jeffrey Lurie and you saw that, what do you say?
I'm simply like all the people that are getting by with the, you know, a win's a win sort of mantra right now. I hear you, but I don't feel you. Like it's just not working for me this week. It's too raw right now. And it's crazy because we won by multiple scores, and we're sitting here talking like this was, you know, the worst beatdown we've taken in a long time. But the Cowboys team is atrocious. They came in here with a third string quarterback, and quite frankly, him and Carson Wentz had similar games. It's just embarrassing. And like we went into this game and we had so many more pieces that were coming back, and like guys that like we were expecting an offensive explosion tonight, and we didn't see anything close to that. I didn't even see a fizzle out there.
I mean, there was a tweet by Ruben Frank. I saw it, and I was just like, instant. Ben DiNucci is having one of the worst games I've ever seen, and he's outplaying Carson. You know, and Ruben Frank covers his team very closely, but you don't have to cover this team closely to know what you're seeing on the football field. I mean, everyone has questions. I mean, Stephen K, shout out to him on YouTube. I'm going to get so much hate for saying I'd rather not make the playoffs. We struggled to beat Dallas, who's so goddamn bad. Imagine playing one of those top teams come playoff time, and you say one of those top teams, like you know maybe the Ravens, maybe the Steelers who are undefeated. You saw how we played them, and then you come back here to what those are one of the top 2 defenses in the league against the worst defense in the league. Did I not mention that they give up like 34 points a game? Or is it 34, 32 points a game? The most in the league. So, like, why did our offense look like that?
Yeah. And like Boston Scott, he was working in the beginning of the game. And you look at the stat that they showed, and they were giving up pretty much the entire month of October. The Cowboys were giving up at least 200 rushing yards a game. And Boston Scott is popping off 9-yard runs, and we're drifting away from that. It doesn't make any sense. There's no rhyme or reason to anything that Doug Peterson does. It's almost like he just like closes his eyes and throws a dart and lands on whatever play. There's no sense to it whatsoever.
Shout out to Puga, who's in Dallas country. He said that was tough to watch, but I'm glad we got the W. And for his sake, being in Dallas, I mean in Texas, I applaud you, and you can hold your head up high because you got the dub. But
in all fairness, like as bad as that win felt, the loss would have been that much worse. If we actually lost to that Dallas team, I don't even know if I would have been able to come on here.
And looking at the comments here, and there, people are commenting from different platforms. Jason from Facebook at 11:52. How far is Carson going to go before he gets benched? I am just HB from Twitter at 11:52. This is not a victory you should be proud of. Carson should have been benched. Brian Eder on Facebook, his comment. These are back to back to back. I take away a play calling from Doug before I bench Carson. So it's like the whole benching of Carson. I'm not going to bench Carson. I'm just going to have a real solid talk with him about his football decisions. A lot of football IQ stuff as a quarterback. Whether it was throwing across your body last week, which is ill-advised. Holding on to the ball too long, which is ill-advised. He's been doing week in and week out. Ball placement, again, we've been talking about that since week one. We thought we turned a corner, sort of, with Carson. I guess it's you just really have to have that long dad talk.
Yeah.
You know, like kids messing up in school, you're like, you know what, we're going to have to take away your phone.
It doesn't make any sense, Gil. Like, explain to me logically how we can stick in a game with the Steelers, with the Ravens, and we have less pieces than we had tonight versus the Cowboys. Like, we were playing with scraps versus two far more elite defenses versus corners like Marlon Humphrey, Marcus Peters, and now Trayvon Diggs has 2 picks tonight.
They've only had 1 interception on the whole team.
He's been awful all year.
1 interception. The whole team had 1 interception the whole season, something like that. And they get 2 tonight. The regression is a word that you mentioned in your opening. I am just HP from Twitter says his regression has been terrible. He's awful this season. And that the way he's been playing, he continues to play that. We left with an audience of 1. No pun intended. I had to get that one in there. I had to get that joke off. But shout out to Paul Wadey, who's in London town. He says it's 4:50 a.m. in the UK. I'm happy with the W, but I'm not happy with our performance. Question for Doug is why are we abandoning the running game when the wind was affecting our passing game? I'm going to try and use this bye week to think about it if Doug is the right guy for us. Ooh. Serious words of Paul.
It is.
It's not me, it's you from Paul. He says, enjoy your bye week, guys. He left us something to think with right there.
Ah, man.
I mean, I don't know.
We've reached that point. We've definitely reached that point. Our successes when we've seen this offense clicking is when we had an offensive coordinator. That's when this offense clicked.
Like I echo John's statements on YouTube. He says this game sucked. I mentioned that as well. Shout out to AJ. Hightower needs to stop. Oh, so you're trying to say no tower?
Yeah, I completely agree with AJ. The Hightower deep balls. Now that we've got Rager back, now Fulcom's on. Why is John Hightower the option? he and not to mention the guy who's already got an interception on you. He's the guy that's covering Hightower. So he's out.
You know what's weird right now because it's a dub, right? You know we're leading the division, but it's again, you get upset when because your expectations don't meet reality. And our expectations of this football team are up here, and the reality is with the way our offense is set up. Again, like the Hart voice, the way our playbook is set up. I like the 15 play script that he has. What is up with the script? Because they seem like they were turning a corner. I think they were around averaging 9 points in the first quarter. I think there was an improvement in the first quarter.
Mm-hmm. From last season, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can talk amongst yourself till I find it, but you're just thinking that they're going to turn a corner and get some production out of the first quarter when we've been struggling. That's where we've been struggling. And
it has been a place where we've been struggling. And if you remember, the Eagles, like in previous years, the second half is when they came out, made adjustments, and actually just really excelled in the second half. And the difference we've been seeing this year is we've been getting neither half. We haven't been getting consistency in any parts of the game. We're not showing up in the first half, breaking open this giant lead, and then we just have to hold it off in the second half. And we're certainly not making halftime adjustments. Like there's no improvement that's being made week to week, half to half, quite frankly, year to year since 2018.
So in the first quarter, we averaged 3.2, which was 31st in 2008. In the 2019 season, we ranked 20th with 4.1 in the first quarter. In 2020, we ranked 19th with 5 points. We were turning a corner, sort of. But the one issue is, again, I mentioned that the Eagles, we scored 57 points against two best defenses in the NFL. We had a bunch of injuries. And Carson Wentz was being hit, and we were scoring points here. And to have this kind of performance against this kind of defense, again, I guess it's a division game. Like, you could say that they know us well if you want to play that card, but I don't feel.
I really wanted to come onto this show, and we were all just sitting here putting on a clown makeup, man. Because I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna own it, dude. We were talking a lot of shit prior to this game. We were talking curb stomp. We were talking beat down.
Well, I was saying
I'm taking this on the chin, bro. Like, that was
the idea.
I said Carson was going to throw for 350 yards tonight. Man, we were not even close, bro.
I played him in fantasy.
Yeah. What'd you get? Negative points?
No, he
probably got you 5.5 points or something.
He got like 14 points. But overall, it was 15 points on the day.
I find that hard to believe.
Agrees with 33, but I rode with my homie. I played the homer card. But again, I mean, if this is what you're saying, that this is how you feel.
Felt like a straight clown, bro. Felt like a straight clown.
Again, someone had mentioned, I think it was KP, who said, I was like, they're definitely not sweeping the leg, Gail. I mean,
we were showing mercy. I'm not gonna lie.
Like the whole sweep the leg, I was trying to be sports uncle, and outside the gate, you can do it, Junior. Like, bro, like I can't anymore. I can't sit here and say that I trust this football team. I think tonight I lost I lost some trust. I mean, again, we're dealing with injuries, which is true. AJ with the fire press Taylor, at least, to start a sign. That was just a clown. That wasn't. That was not him. Todd, he's taking the positive approach. He said from YouTube, he says we're gonna be getting healthier. If that sense.
Hopefully that helps our mental health.
Is this a Cowboy fan? This is interesting.
It is. It is.
Your team has issues for sure, not as many as the Cowboys do, but I was expecting 40-10 loss. Very surprised by the outcome. That's interesting, just talking to a Cowboy fan. The messages that we were seeing on the timeline, but I was just watching what Cowboys fans were writing, and they were pretty disgusted by this football team. So to see evil rubber ducky one say what he said, like he's surprised. The fact that I put a meme out there, I said nobody, and then it was Ben DiNucci, and it was a meme of it was a GIF of Uncle Rico when he flings that steak. We were literally facing Uncle Rico, who was running for his life. Hats off to the defense. Hats off to the defensive line, who's
hats off of Carson Wentz too, because he doesn't deserve that to wear the fedora. AJ.
No fedora for Carson.
No swag for Carson tonight. I'm sorry.
No, man. It's like one of those things. You're not in South Dakota anymore. I had heard I don't forget who said it. But if Carson Wentz was used to, maybe it was Ross Tucker. I don't. they were saying how Carson was used to doing what he did at South Dakota, or like in high school. He could always like, prolong a play and do the captain saver, bro. But like, this is the NFL, and there's a time and place for everything, and we've seen great plays. A la the first week in Washington, Nelson Aguilar. I can name many plays to play in Seattle. There comes a time and place where you have a man in the mirror moment where we're asking you to change your ways. No message could be any clearer. Arson, you got it.
Did you notice? You notice how out of sync the offense was tonight on a level of the play action passes, and how like it seemed like every single play, Carson and the running back were turned to opposite sides of each other. There was no cohesiveness throughout this offense.
That was a play action play or something?
Oh, on a lot of them.
And he rolled the wrong way?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, Nerdy Sports Guy, he says he won. I don't give a fuck. I like that attitude. Like, I like that Nerdy Sports Guy can fall asleep at night and feel that way. Kudos to you. Me personally.
Sorry,
Joe. I said South Dakota, North Dakota. Correct. Shout out to Joe.
Mark, have you been listening to the show, man? I mean,
what did Mark say?
That's exactly what we've been doing for the past 27 minutes. Is holding Wentz accountable.
It's interesting that Jim. I think the defense, like, they came up and made plays. They were just out there all day, like.
Any update on the Slay injury?
Ankle injury.
Gonna miss time?
Well, I'm gonna look that up now. But come on, like, I mean, again, it's concerning, dude. Like, it's week in, week out. Players are going down. Like I said, from the Philadelphia Eagles, they have injury update. Darius Slay with an ankle, questionable return.
Yeah.
But how about Amari Cooper? 5 targets, 1 catch, 5 yards, 0 touchdowns. Took him out of the game.
Yeah. But DiNucci was also the guy that was running around like crazy as well. I mean, he wasn't having that much luck either.
It's so weird, man. Like, it's Dallas. It's Dallas week. I mean, we're sitting here. The vibe is very off. The vibe is very off in the chat.
Yeah. Like we said, it doesn't feel like a win.
Rome says Carson's mechanics and situational awareness has seriously declined yearly. It's very concerning. Again, like we echoed Rome's statement. I feel like it's at what point in time where you need a DeFilippo in here to hold you accountable. You need a coach to be a real dick. Come in here and say, you know what, Carson, like, this is what it is. I'm not trying to be your friend here. I'm really just trying to get your mechanics right and mental right. This is like it's absurd. I saw people all over the timeline, whether it be a Derek Gunn, a Seth Joyner, a Ike Reese, a Giovanni. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, so many Eagle fans echoed the same sentiments as that we're all talking about right here.
I think that's really something that's pretty concerning as well.
Yeah.
Like, just from a matter of like Carson, like, if this whole thing is in his head, if that's where the issue is, it's not anything that has to do anything with his talent or anything like that. Carson has the talent. We've seen it from before. We know it exists within him. But if this is a mental blocker that is preventing him from making plays and preventing him from excelling, like, that's a serious issue. That's something that I don't know how to break through that. We've seen that here before. We saw that with, it's similar to me to Nelson Aguilar. It seems like he's in his own head. Why is he holding on to the ball so long, man? Like, I just don't get it. How many times who needs to shout it in your ear? Do we need like a bullhorn on the sideline? Just like the bullhorn goes off, like, that ball better be out of your hands, bro. Like,
yeah.
what's it take?
Yeah, I feel like I mean, I don't know. It's crazy. Paul Smith from Facebook. Shout out to Paul. This medical staff, training staff has been historically the worst any NFL football team has ever seen. Pull the data. There's no way a team that has had this many soft tissue injuries. I think we're up to, in terms of hamstring injuries, we're up around 14 hamstring injuries where we're close to leading the league in soft tissue injuries regarding hamstring. But yeah, I saw a message. I'm trying to go back to it. But it was that whole feeling of Todd right here. He says it was a shitty game, but it was a win. We're going to be okay. The young guys on the O-line are getting better. We're going to get key players back. Victory Monday is still going to feel great tomorrow. You know, like in terms of, I feel good for the young guys. I feel good for Fulgham. I feel good about Rager. I feel good about Elada. He's still in development. It's Doug Peterson, and Carson Wentz, who I don't feel great about. And I feel those are the two important pieces on the offensive side of the ball that really need to come together. I feel like they have to get their shit together. It has nothing to do with the young guys. So obviously they have to get back on track. So it's kind of concerning, man. It's totally kind of concerning. Michael says, was there any updates on Slay? They said an ankle. That's all we know. Still looking for that as we speak. Shout out to Jeff on Facebook. Thoroughly convinced someone truly sold their soul for the chip. I can honestly come to any other conclusion why this team is falling off so fast.
That's what it feels like, man. That's certainly what it feels like. But I think that, to me, I can't help but look past the fact of the offensive coordinator. All of a sudden, we decided we didn't need one anymore after the Super Bowl. Now here we are.
I mean,
Vanilla offense USA.
I mean, it's just an interesting situation to be in, like, because I'm not concerned about like the young playmakers. I'm not concerned about like Greg Ward had a drop, but I still have confidence in what they're doing and their ability to make plays. Like Boston Scott coming up big, and again, we are going to get healthy. We're going to get Miles Sanders back. We're going to get Lane Johnson back. I think my biggest concern, this whole feeling I feel, is just really Carson Wentz and Greg Peterson. Would you agree?
Yeah. That's where 90% of my concern lies, and the other percentages are spread out among the defense and injuries.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you can get right with injuries and people get healthy, but the stuff that we're seeing from Carson and Doug, that's week in and week out.
Yeah, there seems to be no chemistry between them. There's no chemistry really between Carson and any particular receiver. Like, I want to see, it seemed like there was something building in those games where Travis Fulgham was really emerging. It seemed like there was a really good connection there. And I don't know where that chemistry is going. Like, why aren't you guys working to get the ball to him more? Why is that? Why are we leaning away from that?
Well,
he had the touchdown, but let the dude pop off.
On the day, Fulgham, or if we're going targets, Fulgham received 7 targets. Rager received 6 targets. Fulgham on the day, 7 targets, 6 receptions, 78 yards, 1 touchdown. 32 is the longest. Rager had 6 targets, 3 receptions, 16 yards, a touchdown. Goddard, only 1 target, 15 yards. Greg Ward, 5 targets, 3 receptions, 10 yards. Boston Scott, 2 targets, 2 receptions, 9 yards. Corey Clement, 2 targets, 1 reception. Hightower, 3 targets, 0 catches, 0 yards. So I feel like Fulgham was getting targeted. This is the 4th game in a row that he's had 70-plus yards. Well, he's definitely
getting the most on the team.
I had a tweet that I was putting together. I was like, it's so refreshing to watch Fulgham play and stuff that he's doing.
Yeah,
coming where he came from the practice squad, and he got released and was like, bro, like, I mean, for him to do what he's doing and be reliable and consistent, I think going into the bye, I still feel great about Fogel.
Yeah, I do as well. I do as well. I mean, he's definitely been the bright spot of our first half of our season. And honestly, Ted brings up a point of Dallas. They really don't have that bad of linebackers between, Sean Lee was back and you got Leighton Vander Esch. So they could have been holding down the middle of the field.
Joey's like, I'm out. You guys, love you guys, but this show's depressing and I'm happy as shit. We just beat Dallas. Chill out. Carson's allowed to be off. Dragged their asses to the playoffs last year, and he has players going in and out of the lineup weekly. Come on, man.
I'm glad you feel good, man. I'm sorry that I don't. Like I'm. This team isn't bringing me any confidence, and if a win is a win, I agree with that. I don't feel confident moving forward into the bye now.
You can go to any timeline and see what people are speaking about. This is what they're talking about.
Yeah.
It just is what it is. Like it's nothing. Again,
like what positives do you want to talk about from that team? Like I'm throwing it out to the chat. Like what do you think was a good takeaway from that game where that made you feel good?
Yeah, Joey, don't go. Bring the positivity. No, again, we can't sit here and be homers and be like, yeah, this is great. Everything's fine here. Nothing's wrong. There are things that have to be addressed. We can't just sit here and like not look at the situation at hand. It is what it is. Like we're looking to get better. We're looking to progress. See what needs to be worked on, and that's what it is. But again, we are 3-4-1. We're going into a bye. That's a good thing.
That is a good thing. And we have an opportunity to get more healthy. Obviously, these are all beneficial things. The thing that is just, obviously the glaring issue is I don't trust this coaching staff. I don't trust this coaching staff to develop a game plan on either side of the ball. And I don't know what you guys are saying that is giving you this confidence. We're squeaking by these games that we're winning. That's the reality. We're not winning any game handily this year. There's no easy win, not even against the worst teams in the NFL. So what about this team brings you guys confidence?
Yeah, chat. No, shout out to Jeremy up in the chat. Offensive.
We're streaking.
With Rager.
We're streaking.
We are
going streaking.
I'm hopeful with Rager and Goddard. Yeah, I'm excited what I saw in them. I like what I see in them.
Mm-hmm.
Again, like I've said, I have nothing. I don't
defense.
Have the young guys.
Defense won the game. Agreed.
Brandon Graham's having one of his best seasons ever at his age.
Yep.
For a guy that we're going to talk some positive and put some respect on some players who did something today. Brandon Graham. Like it's one of those things where your veterans have to lead you. Your veterans have to lead you out of certain situations of adversity. And again, this guy's stepping up. Just remember him waving bye to all the reporters because he thought he was going to get cut at that moment.
Yeah.
And here we are in the situation, and and he's
he's been the most consistent guy on that line without a doubt. He has been. I mean, he's got his chance at double-digit sacks this year. It's crazy. He hasn't reached that yet in his career.
Yeah, I just feel like, again, like it's going to take certain guys on this locker room, leaders in the locker room, to get them through all this adversity. And thank God it's Brandon Graham.
Are we ready to stop dragging Jason Peters' ass out onto the field?
I mean, is it Old Yeller season?
I feel like it's Old Yeller week, bro.
You're like green pastures. No, go to left. No, stay there. No, look at the stars.
Look at the flowers.
And this is a guy who, like, he's getting up and he's just looking. Man, it's just like, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
from Danucci, the NFL thing, it's hard. Todd, another positive. Our linebackers played decent tonight. Another positive from Michael. White Snake on the IR is a blessing in disguise. Singleton's ranked pretty high VPF.
I think Singleton's been filling in very well.
He's actually, he hasn't been a liability, which is nice, coming from a guy who's,
Total liability.
pushing to make it back into the roster. Shout out to Bags. I appreciate that we can come here and vent. And thanks, boys, for your avenue to complain. That's what we're here for, man. This is what post game pod is about. It's 12:30. It's actually 1:30.
Yeah.
Got an extra hour, but this is what we do, man. I feel like,
I wish this wasn't the avenue to come and vent. I wish this was a celebratory kind of show we were having. I wish we were sitting here talking about how the Eagles were firing on all cylinders. But until I see that type of game out of the Eagles, I can't bring myself to do it artificially.
Jeremy said broke regarding JP. So it looks like he's struggling every effort play. See, it's funny how you have the same comments from like other channels. Like we're on YouTube now. Daz, shout out to Daz. He says, who else threw their hands up when Peters went down again?
What was your thoughts? Was Chris Collinsworth a little over the top tonight, dude? I was so sick of Chris Collinsworth by the end of the night. I don't know if it was my frustrations with the game or with what he was saying, but
I'm half naked watching the play, and Ben Tucci, wonderful. It's just like he gets so, like, the sidearm throw, which was the Uncle Rico throw,
right?
That everybody on Twitter was agreeing. So
Yeah.
got mad retweets. That was Uncle Rico-esque.
Kept on calling him Pat Mahomes. It's Uncle Rico.
No, bro. Shout out to AJ. Ray Diddy called Eagles bottom feeders. This is like, again, who made the comment?
Ray Diddy.
He's still here. Shout out to Joe. Ray Diddy is a Eagles historian. He's a legend in the game. He called this team bottom feeders. But Joey says, you take the positives, the good, the passes, the good defense, the diamonds we have found on offense, BG. And then we have a couple weeks to work on the negative.
That was one comment.
If they do the same shit after bye, then heads should roll. Okay, see, Joey went positive and he went negative, so I appreciate you.
There was one comment that was during the middle of the game where they were talking about Tony Romo and they asked him if he had a girlfriend, and it was just such a weird exchange that Chris Collinsworth and Al Michaels are having. I was like, why the hell are they talking about this?
Yeah. And shout out to Paul again. He says Collinsworth hates the Eagles, loves the Cowboys. This is very true. This is very true. But it's again, if we can be excited about anything, the youth movement is a thing.
We won't lose next week.
We won't lose next week. We get to prepare for a week for the New York Giants. So that's a good thing.
No matter what happens after next week, we're still on top of the division.
Nice. I sense sarcasm. Maybe sarcasm.
What? From me?
Yeah. Come on. Again, I thought I was just going to watch this game and roll into Monday feeling super great. But it is again, week after week, you catch dubs and stack dubs. And then
got 2 in a row, man.
NFC East, you don't need that many dubs to make the playoffs. You keep on, you win against the Giants. That's 3 wins in the division.
3 wins in a row. Got a little streak going on there.
And then you go into Cleveland. Cleveland's, I don't know who Cleveland
inconsistent. They're inconsistent just like us.
So I'd have to believe, I feel confident if we're healthy, we have all our pieces back, we get it together.
That's what I felt tonight, but yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, way too
negative. Way too negative. Okay.
Way too negative, huh?
Yeah, we're gonna go into this bye. We're gonna come back healthier, and obviously that equals we're gonna come out with a better game plan. I don't know. I'm struggling to get confidence in Doug Peterson, man. That's where I think I'm trying to avoid that sort of conversation. Is that I'm really losing trust in this coaching staff.
And I mean, that's one thing that's like that has even nothing to do with the players. It's really about Coach Peterson and the play calling. But getting back to the comments here, Dan Bookman, 2 weeks we could be 4-4-1, going to the meat of the schedule. Plenty of reasons to feel positive. On our previous podcast, I said we were going to the meat, the potatoes of the NFC East. We go 4-4-1. That's a great look. Then. Like beat the Giants at 4-4-1. We will bring up the schedule here, and then you go. I mean, then you go through the gauntlet. This is playoff team central. Because if you're thinking about it, you're being real. You bring this up so everyone can see it. You know, this is where you have to like really take control of your destiny because you got some top teams here. You have the Seahawks. Can you see that, Evan?
Yes, I can.
You have the Browns, Seahawks. Then you have the Packers. You have the Saints. Those are two top teams. The Cardinals have been impressing a little bit. They seem like they have a little group. Did they win today? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure.
But then again, you go back to the NFC East, and you face a Cowboy team that should be battered and tattered, and then a Washington football team who they feel like they look their defense. It's pretty solid defensive front, man. They're pretty scary up front. But again, like I mean,
that's Seahawks through the Cardinals. That's really the gauntlet right there. That's going to be the make or break part of the season right there. Is that 4-game stretch? And the thing that we can feel confident about and feel some positivity about is that we have been playing to our opponent's level. We've been stepping it up versus the Steelers, versus the Ravens, and versus the 49ers. So, like, we've been playing at a high level versus good teams. But we've been playing down to bad teams levels as well. So it's all like that good Doug or bad Doug. It's just which one are we going to get that day?
Again, like we went over it's in our key matchups every week. We always we don't put it out there for a reason. Look at our number one matchup. It's Carson Wentz versus Carson Wentz.
Every week.
Carson Wentz versus Carson Wentz because we know it's a thing. It's not we don't put it there for jokes. It's a thing. It really is a thing. So You never know which one's going to show up. Maybe we should all go pray. Go to church, Carson. Maybe have a prayer group. Maybe prayer circle. Hopefully he's not getting too much yams from the missus. Like, look, you're gonna have to spread it out another couple of days before game. Yeah.
What are you saying? What are you saying?
Too much yams.
You think that's the problem right now?
They weaken the legs, Rackers. I just think look. I don't know, bro. Like Carson looked like indestructible at certain times in his career. Just to see him at this point, it's just weird. And the only thing I can put my finger on is Doug Peterson and the play calling and playing to his strengths. We talk about the rollout.
Yep.
Having on the move. His QBR rating is insanely high to the right side of the field on rolling out. I feel like designing a rolling pocket, just interesting. I don't know.
Let me ask a question. So, in the year that we always bring up and always talk about and compare it to is the Super Bowl year. When Nick Foles came in, correct me if I'm wrong, end of the regular season.
Joey says Carson's been in Amsterdam. He's been deep in the yams.
But Carson Wentz goes down, and then Nick Foles wasn't clicking in this offense, right? At the end of the regular season. And then all of a sudden they put together a game plan. They're able to create a game plan around Nick Foles to make them win in the playoffs. Okay. So where is the disconnect? Because this offense isn't working for Carson Wentz. Why were they able to, over a couple weeks span, create an entire new game plan for a new quarterback that's brought into the system? This quarterback has been in the system for 5 years. Why can't you organize a game plan that matches what Carson Wentz's strengths are?
I was waiting for the F word to come up with the comments, and boom, here it is, Kyle Pallet off the top rope. Once Frank Reich left, we haven't been the same offensively.
That's just, that. I feel like that's just the pill we don't want to swallow as Eagles fans. A lot of us.
What? I've been saying it, but people were like getting crazy on time.
How is it getting crazy though? Is it not facts?
I don't know why I've seen people.
Have we not seen the regression since Frank left?
They're like, it's not the Frank thing, but it is what it is. You know, I mean, Nick Foles said, "Thanks, Frank Reich, for showing who he was." That's what he said. It's interesting, man. Very interesting. The guy responsible is an indie Hearn, says Brian. Shout out to Alex, a.k.a. the Juggernaut. Thanks to Alex, if you guys were on the pregame show, cooked up an amazing pulled pork. Okay. Never shares any of his sandwiches with us. So rude. No, just kidding. But the sandwich is amazing. They're just out in Colorado, so we can't eat them. But shout out to Alex for joining us pregame as always.
Yeah, I got that right here. One sec. Never mind. A little delayed.
Joey says, oh, here we go. There's a sandwich. Wow, look at that.
Yeah, that did look delicious, man.
That comment on there. Can I see that sandwich again?
Yeah.
Wow, look at that sandwich. And for the people listening to the podcast, it's a picture of Alex with a ginormous sandwich.
Pulled pork, nice slaw, and he had it on the jalapeno cheddar roll.
He's got his girl on lock. His man, it would make a sandwich like that, and Alex is a great guy, great humor, and makes sandwiches like that.
Yeah, no, she ain't ever leaving.
Sandwich legend. Shout out to Joey. He says, "Okay, we know Carson made some pathetic decisions tonight.
Yep.
We're talking about his good. Can we end talking about his good throws, including the one to Rager dropped at the end?
That's fair. That's fair.
Going out. Yeah,
he dropped that ball into Fulgham as well.
I just think Carson again is always a competitor. You know what I mean? Like there's a point in time where a switch to Captain Saver Bro can be the gift and the curse. Where the next thing you know, he's running 40 yards down field, knocking people over, willing his team to, try and win. And that throw to Boston Scott last week, that throw to Boston Scott was tremendous. I mean,
it's a little bit tougher. Wentz throws, pass is caught. Touchdown, Boston Scott.
We're talking dime pieces, folks. That's a dime piece throw, and that's the kind of Carson Wentz raises the expectations, and that's why we're here. Like, if Carson Wentz was playing played like shit like all the time, we wouldn't have these things. Like he shows like elite throws. Whether you can go back to the Miles Sanders throw where he rolls out and throws a dime like on a rope.
Think about it this way. I mean, we wouldn't be sitting here having the angry post-game show that we'd be having if we didn't have high expectations for Carson. We won the game. We should be happy about it. What we're upset about is we know that there's a quarterback that we have that's underperforming. He's better than this.
Joey says, Captain Save a Ho is a good analogy. We save a bro, so we try to keep PG here, okay? It was a play on the Captain Save a Ho, but it's Captain Save a Bro because he's always trying to save the bros and get him out of the situation when he doesn't have to.
And if we're staying in the positivity Carson vein, I will also say that Carson has a tremendous ability of While we do talk about him being in his own head, he's got a great ability to, like, once he turns the ball over, he quickly forgets about it, and he's not afraid to take another shot downfield. Sometimes that results in another turnover, but he's not gun shy by any means. And whenever he's running, whenever he tucks the ball and runs, he runs hard, and he's willing to dive forward, get that first down. So he's a tough player, man. I just think that there's some sort of communication breakdown going on
Now,
between him and coaching.
Jeff from Facebook says, "Why does Carson have to get his back against the ropes before he turns it up?" And I think that's a valid point from Jeff, because you're asking yourself, why do we have to get in this situation for you to like get this a victory when you could just get your check downs, throw the ball away, put us in better situations. Just can you imagine if they score on that and the defense doesn't come up with a
stop
play?
Yeah,
like down 10-0 for no reason. I mean, we need to talk about this. And in the chat, Doug Peterson going for 2 and going on 4th down. Like, how are we all feeling about this? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Evan.
what was the question?
What are your feelings about Doug Peterson going for 2 and going for on 4th down? Like, do you think it's a little overkill on some of these plays?
It is. He's been completely overkill on the 4th down tries, and like, I do get it when we're on their side of the field and we're outside of field goal range, especially the way that Jake Elliott's been playing this year. I mean, his range has been highly questionable. So I get it, but at the same time, what I don't understand is the play calls that you have for those 4th down plays. Like, that's really when I am begging to see the creativity in your game plans. And we just see some vanilla runs up the middle. We see just things that clearly aren't going to work and are easily predictable. And as for the 2-point conversions, I think that it a lot of the time it doesn't make any sense. But to flip the coin over, did you understand at all the Cowboys taking the safety to try and do the onside punt? I didn't understand for the life of me what that whole move was about.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
That was a head scratcher.
I'm trying to look at the Carson's career stats. I was looking in the chat. Someone had mentioned that Dan says, "Can we stop going for 2 constantly? Unnecessary tonight." Jeff says, "Going for 2 is horrible. It's truly overkill. It's become overly predictable."
And we've got one of the better punters in the league.
And then Joey makes a point here, 4th and 1, he passes. You're talking about the situation with, you have Boston Scott, who's been getting work and getting yards. But then the 4th and 3 play, right?
Yep.
You go with a passing play. I mean, the play before, it's like 3rd and 3. You go with a passing play when you could have ran the ball and then went for a 4th and short.
Right.
And then he gets sacked on that play. Again, someone mentioned something about his interceptions in the chat. Stay Woke 2925 says, "This is the most weird turnover season for Wentz. Other seasons, he throws at least 7 interceptions a year." I have that here. It's just, it is a thing. Like, he's normally under, he's got it under control with the interceptions, but he had 14 his rookie year.
He's going to have more than that this year.
It's 7 in 2017, 7 in 2018, 7 in 2019. He already has 10 with 7 games played this season. So, obviously do the math.
That's not even updated, I don't think, because we're 3-4-1.
Oh, is that what it's?
We're 3-4-1. No, that's not updated. We're 3-4-1. That said 7 games played.
Oh, great game. So add another How many picks?
Had another 2 interceptions on that.
Come on, man. Come on. Because you talk about just putting your team in a position to win. That's what you want at the end. At every game, you just want to put your team in the best situations to win.
Yep.
Turning the ball over isn't helping.
Going deep to John Hightower isn't working.
Do we even have a kicker anymore? Lack of trust in Elliott. I think there's concerns about Elliott. It's definitely concerns.
Yeah. That's why they brought that other kicker in the other week.
Interesting.
Why we don't, like I said, we have one of the best punters in the league. And, you know, DiNucci is DiNucci, and the Cowboys weren't able to get anything going offensively all game. So why we're going for it on 4th down unnecessarily and just not just pinning them back with the good punter that we have, that didn't make any sense.
Yeah. Paul says, yes, overkill. Again, stubborn, accused of right leg call. Creative call. But I was going to give you guys some good options. If you guys are looking for some good movies on Netflix, there's some really good flicks out there right now. You can probably, check it out now. Nightmare on Zeke Street. Wonderful, wonderful movie. Dallas Goddard gives it 2 guns up. Silence This Lamb. Also a great movie.
Yeah.
We went to our expert movie reviewer, Dallas Goddard. Gives it 2 guns up. The people listening to the podcast, it is a photo of our tight end. Dallas
packing
Goddard.
heat, bro.
Got some packing heat, man.
He's rolling heavy.
I don't know where he was in this picture, but
he's in South Dakota for sure. He's in the middle of the country.
Yeah, definitely South Dakota on this one, guys. Not North Dakota. I mean, that's positive here. We got to win, and
got a game and a half in the division lead. So
before it all breaks out, in the world with this election coming up, at least we get a W. At least we get a W, and you guys out there, make sure you guys go vote and do your thing out there
for sure.
But any last words? I mean, if you guys have any questions in the chat, we'd love to hear those before we get out of here.
I would I feel like every single week for the final words, I'm coming here and I'm trying to console the fan base, telling them, we're gonna be okay. We're gonna win the division. I gotta be honest. I want you guys to console me. I really need you guys to reach out and tell me why I should have confidence in this team, because I'm just not feeling too hot. That win did not feel at all like a win to me. I'm gonna get better as the week goes on. I'm gonna rest up. I'm gonna be juiced up for the Giants game. But I think this is just a fresh wound, and I need to let it heal a little bit.
Yeah, well, Todd says y'all gonna feel better tomorrow. He said, maybe pour some milk on it. You need some milk. Maybe make you feel good. Brian says, I'm going to blame Hollywood Hearn for the Eagles kickoff live graphic still being up and no one else.
I don't even know what that means.
Well, Eagles kickoff live is still up. This is the post game. Shout out to AJ. I'm about to eat a muffin and have decaf tea. AJ is living a dream right now. She's having a party over there. AJ says, "Feel you though, Ev." Again,
AJ.
I mean, I'm last week I said, life is short. Enjoy Eagles W. That's what I said on Monday. So again, I'm going to say tomorrow, life is short. Enjoy Eagles W. Rub it in the faces of any Cowboy fan out there. Let them know. Prime, I know your brother is a stinking Cowboys fan. I would light a bag of shit and throw it at his door tonight.
Yeah, the Eagles played awful, and the Cowboys still lost by 3 scores. So, hang your hat on that.
I'm wondering if shout out to Mally, who was at the game earlier. I know he got in contact with Jalen Reagor They're supposed to sign his jersey. So that would be cool if Rager signed his jersey. A guy that we were high on pre-draft. We did a draft video on him. One of our most watched videos on our YouTube channel. If you want to go check it out on Jalen Rager. We also were high on Justin Jefferson for you Justin Jefferson stands out there. But again, happy Jalen Rager's back. Happy we got the dub. 3-4-1. Supposed to be fun, right?
Yeah.
This guy, why don't you go play some radio?
Huh? Yeah, I'm about to. Some creep.
Some creep, man. Jeez. Any last words before we get out of it?
No, just I think you touched on it all. Go out there and it's gonna be a crazy week. Finally, the political commercials will come to an end, but so too will the election. Make sure you go out there and vote, do your part, and that's bigger than sports.
Sure.
Go Birds.
Go Birds. If I can leave you guys with anything, again, check up on your friends and family. Mental health is always important. People will not tell you how they're feeling, and you do have to be proactive and ask them how you're doing and how they're feeling, and just check in with your peoples, man. Like if they're your friend, give them a call, not just a text. Give them a call so you get some context behind the words, and really take it one day at a time. We're all in this pandemic state, but we do have the Eagles. We do have something to look forward to, right, guys? And Joey, be positive out there. But again, like Evan said, go out and vote. Do your thing at the polls, and then we can just be done with it. And y'all can stop texting us. You can stop calling us. You can let us be on our merry way and enjoy our Eagles bye.
Yep. And
then take over the NFC East. And as always, for me and Evan, it is fly, Eagles fly, and we will see you guys in the next one.